This is state of emergency.
The night circle of Sanity, ready. The night circle of Sanity, ready. The night circle of Sanity, ready.
You want answers? You want answers? You want answers? You want answers?
I want the truth.
You can't handle the truth. Handle the truth. Handle the truth.
The night circle of Sanity, ready.
Man, it's been a long time.
I should have left you without no rhyme to step.
Hit it.
Sorry, how road you step through. Time's up. Sorry, I kept you thinking of this. You miss around from the microphone solo wish to get stepped by the radio heads on the dial scene. As you hear it,
Pump up the volume.
Yeah,
Man. Yeah, I can go back to Eric B. and Rocky. You know, there was a concert in D.C. recently.
I was there.
I wanted to go, but I found out about it like 2 days before because, like, my friends who knew didn't tell me. That's how you know.
When I found out, you found out.
That's how you tell who your friends are, man.
When I found out, you found
your
out.
Friends. How many of us have them?
Friends, ones we can depend on.
Exactly. So I didn't get to go because one, I didn't know about it in time. Two, I didn't have nobody to go with. But you know, that's
Neither one of those were my problem.
I'm just saying.
Out, you found out.
All I know is this.
The concert was lit.
That's what I thought. That's
Rock Kim performed with the live orchestra.
Here we
go. Yes.
And
it was so cool because he didn't have a drummer.
In
the orchestra.
Oh my goodness.
The
DJ
provided the drums.
Did the DJ do the drums?
Yes.
Man, that sounds like that was a lot of fun. I would have enjoyed that.
All elements of hip hop.
Man, that sounds like that was.
He did every song.
Every song.
He was on stage. So he's on stage 2 hours.
2 hours on the stage. That sounds like that was a lot of fun. I would have enjoyed.
Became a team.
Here we go.
Microphones instead of music oriented when hip hop was originated, fitted like pieces of puzzle.
Yeah,
complicated.
It sounds like it would have been great. I would have had a good time there, I'm sure. Had I known, didn't have anybody to go with.
Because I don't get upset.
Yeah.
I'm full of hope.
Yeah. Okay. So I got the survey text message today to choose to vote for my favorite DJ.
That's not what it said.
It didn't?
No.
What it said?
It said go leave a review for your
review for my favorite DJ.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna do that. As soon as I figure out how if DJ Tons is on.
Staying on business. I'm about to reach your mic. Shout out to Tons, man.
Because I know Tons would have let me know.
Yeah, just like he let you know about his wine festival, the wine in the park, his birthday party, the cruise, all white cruise.
See, this is why you like a woman, man, because you just be bringing facts into an argument, and that shit is not necessary. Let me have my day.
Well, speak facts.
I can't speak facts.
Speak facts.
I'm a man. I don't argue with facts. I argue with like emotions and crazy shit.
You only know about the concert because the moment I was notified, I notified you.
Yeah, that part might be right.
It ain't my fault that your little black book or your Rolodex got limited photos in it.
That's the problem. I got a Rolodex with paper and everybody else is just electronic. They got this shit on their phone. They get alerts, and like my alerts come in and say, Logitech is having to say on microphones this week. Shark is having a sale on vacuum cleaners. But that's
gotta
okay.
Expand your horizon.
I have to expand my horizons,
Yeah.
man. I do. I was questioned today. And take the queen, my mom.
How's she doing?
She is surprisingly getting better, but she still has a lot of challenges ahead of her. The biggest problem is my mother is headstrong and stubborn, and will tell everybody that she has been independent her entire life. My grandmother used to say that my mother came out the womb independent because her birthday is 4th of July. So like you can't tell her to do anything, and so whatever. But I took her to her therapies today, and the physical therapist that's working in the place but not working with her was questioned my CV on music, because I told her I don't know anybody that, you know, I'm old school club, old school. I don't, you know, I don't know of anything of anybody from the 2000s. I roll back, like, you know, like I was in the clubs and stuff. So she was like, "Oh, well, you know," she just started off by her asking me about the Diddy situation, and I was like,
Okay.
"Yeah, Mace tried to tell y'all back in the 90s." She's like, "It goes back before then with Jaguar." I was like, "He had a Jaguar?" She was like, "No, the girl." I was like,
Jaguar, right? Yeah.
I was like, "Who?" Like, and she was like, "You don't know Jaguar, right?" Like, "No, I don't. I know you know the song because the song was a hit." So she pulls up on the phone and she starts playing it, and I'm like,
Was it the Jay-Z one?
I don't know what it was. I never heard it. She said, "I don't believe, you know." I was like, "Look, let me explain something to you, babe. I'm from Baltimore City. Understand? I was in Odell's. And when Odell's died out, I was finding other clubs, but I wasn't listening to like these new people. I don't know these new people." She said, "Well, who do you know?" I'm like, by the time Eric B and Rakim came along, I was almost done. Like I'm going back to Soul Sonic Force, and like I was before hip hop was hip hop, and it was known as you know, like rap music. Before women became bitches and hoes, I was listening to it, and I was in the like house music club. She was like, "Well, I don't know," and then and then she started questioning me about people. And I said, "Look, let me tell you who I know from the 2000s. I said, I know the little boy." She said, "What little boy?" I said, "You know, the little guy, Bruno Mars." And then we had this whole conversation about Bruno Mars not being a kid. I'm like, to me, he's a kid. and then I said, like, I know Adele. Like, I know some of the people who can sing and perform. I don't know none of these new people. And I never heard of Diddy's Jaguar. She got on me about that. So I'm like, whatever, lady. Look, this is what you get when you mess with an old head, and you go stop messing with me and let me get my mother up out of here.
Well, you know, music is my life, right? I'm a music historian, right?
Not only a music historian, you're a maestro on the ones and the twos, right? I'm gonna give you credit where credit's due. You know how to work all them buttons and stuff back there, and I know what you got here in the studio isn't even close to what you got when you do what you do, because I seen you do what you do. Right.
That's why you need to go to Google and leave a review.
For tons.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna educate some folks because a lot of people don't know. I knew prior to to TikTok, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the last couple of days, since all this Diddy stuff been going on, TikTok has been leaking a lot of jewels, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give you the history of this song so you can know. When this song was released on the remastered version of Reasonable Doubt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mary J. Blige is the vocalist. What I'm going to play for you right now is Jaguar Right. You want to hear it?
Yeah. Knock me out. Oh, she did tell me she sang with the Roots.
Yes, that's how she was able to get on the song. The Roots are actually the band that's playing on this song. This is Jaguar Right that you hear. She ain't got started yet. Listen. Here she go.
Most incredible, baby.
That's just all right.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't see him coming down my eyes, so I gotta make the song cry. I can't see him coming down my eyes, so I gotta make the song cry. Good dude, I know you love me like cook food.
So as crazy as we may think she is, that sister is talented.
So I don't know if she crazy. I don't know if she right. I don't know nothing about it other than she drives a Jaguar. So, you know, I can't, I'm old, man. I like I was there when the Jackson 5 came to the Civic Center for the first time in 1971. I was sitting on the 4th row. So I don't know these new people, and I'm okay with that.
Right.
I'm okay with that. I didn't like Diddy because people called him a genius because he was taking hits and making them hits again. And I'm like, that don't take no talent. Right. So how much talent is that? You just pay the person for the music and you're good to go. Genius is and making sure you pay people because Rob Bass found that out the hard way, fucking around using chic music. So, but yeah, man, like I like all kinds of music. And that's another thing about me. Once I hear a song or I'm listening to a song, if I know the song or I hear enough of the song, I can't talk about another song. I can't think about another song. I can't get that earworm out my head. Like I just, if you played right now, if you played Biggie's Big Hit, I would not be able to tell you the name of an Elton John song.
Okay, I got you.
See, it's a block. It's a thing. Same way, if I'm listening to Elton John song, you would think I was an Elton John aficionado genius because I couldn't name shit to Jackson 5 do. I can't disassociate that. But I'll sing the lyrics to every goddamn song that I got like 4,000 songs on my phone, and I'm mad because I got another 2,000 on another laptop that I can't get off to put on my phone. So that's and those go back to when Napster was a thing, and I was downloading music from Napster. So, but anywho, that for those who are watching on YouTube, I should mention. So we're not streaming tonight on Niteifer online or my personal page because I couldn't get it set up in time. I'm dealing with a lot of things right now, but we're listening and we're broadcasting on Rock Meg Nation and on YouTube. So if you follow me if you're hearing this, you're obviously on one of those two. So I don't know why I'm saying anything, but I really think you should go and download the app and listen in. Rock, tell them the app and the location for the app.
We are on the TuneIn app. It's an absolute free app, so by all means, just go to the TuneIn.
So by absolute free, you mean don't cost anything?
It don't cost you a dime.
What about a nickel? That cost you a nickel?
Nope.
No, don't cost anything.
No currency.
Nothing.
Nothing.
No Bitcoin.
No Bitcoin.
No cash money.
No cash money.
Change in your pocket.
None.
You know what? You know what we used to call that back in the day?
Pedophilia.
No, that's a whole different thing. I don't know why you bringing Troy into this.
Hey, girl, get that quarter out of my pocket. I give you a lollipop.
Oh, see, so yeah, I'm a sidebar real quick. I've been watching Saturday Night Live since Saturday Night Live first hit the air in 1975. Saturday Night Live is so tame now. Back in the day, they had one of the most frequent hosts, a guy named Buck Henry. Buck Henry, people don't like. If you ever watch Get Smart back in the day?
Yeah.
Get Smart was created by Mel Brooks, believe it or not. And the lead writer for Get Smart was a guy named Buck Henry. But Buck Henry would come on Saturday Night Live and they did this skit where he was the uncle to these two little girls that the parents would let babysit. And as soon as the parents were out the house, he would start. It's so wrong that I almost don't even want to say it today. But like he would do things like have them in their pajamas sit on the coffee table, the glass coffee table, and play glass bottom boat. He would lay under the table while they were playing on the table. It's like this shit is so wrong just thinking about it now, but that shit was hilarious back in the 70s. Like, oh my God, they're getting away with it. They can't get away with none of that now. Like, there's so many lines that you can't cross. But he would do this thing where he would do treasure hunt, and he would tell the girls, I've got money in my pocket, see if you can find it. And they would be digging in his pants pockets trying to find this money. And he was like, oh yeah, dig deeper, a little more to the left. So oh man. Yeah. So we used to call this, what you're talking about, this app back in the day, we used to call that free. Why don't you just call it free, man? It's a free app.
That's what I said.
Oh, maybe you did. I thought you said it didn't cost no money.
I said it's absolutely free.
Okay. So how do you get this? You get this free app?
You go to www.tunein.com.
That's TUNE, not TOON.
Right. TUNEIA. One word.
One word.
.com.
COM.
Yes.
Right. Gotcha.
And then once you go to it, it's gonna ask you. It's gonna pop up. You click the X in the corner because they won't ask you, do you want it to be commercial free? That's gonna ask you for a subscription. You don't want that.
Because that'll cost you money.
Yes.
Right.
That's not free.
That's not free.
Hit the X in the corner.
Going to the X, right?
And then once you get to the home screen, you type in WMEG online radio. And then you click the little heart button to make it your favorite. And every time you open up TuneIn, it would automatically take you to WMEG.
That's what has to happen. Anybody listening now on Rock Meg, watching on Rock Meg or on my YouTube, which is Niteifer Online, NITELIFER, not the real word night, because that's complicated. Find me on YouTube. Those are the instructions. I need you to do exactly what Rock said. Put this on your phone so you can listen in, not just to this fine program, but any of the fine programs on this network. And I mentioned some of these shows before because I give shout outs to my family of broadcasters, because we all have to support each other, because it takes more than one person. It takes a village to raise an idiot.
And Yale.
Yes.
Tomorrow is actually the birthday of WMEG, and I'm feeling generous. Anyone can text you while we're on the air.
Oh, here we go.
A picture of them listening to TuneIn. And WMEG, we have a very, very special gift for them.
Okay, so you can call in at 443-267-6558, or you can text me at 443-471-6199. And I don't even know what this special gift is going to be. I just know that people who are already on the station as entertainment or performer, you don't count, Troy.
No.
So.
And then also, if you really want to make life much simpler, if you really want to listen to the station, you can go to rockmeg1.com. That's ROCMEG, the number one.com, and click on the WMEG banner on the top of the webpage.
Wow. I mean, you can't get any easier than that, right? I mean,
it gets easier.
It gets easier than that?
Yes.
No way. Tell them.
All you smart people that are iPhone users.
Here we go.
Go to Apple Music and just type in WMEG.
And you get the podcast.
No, you get the actual live radio.
You get the live radio. See, that's what I'm talking about, people. This is 2024. No longer do you have to pick up the phone and take the rotary dial and hope that you don't get a busy signal, and then you get through to the DJ and be put on hold and find out that your number you call it number 9. We need to be calling number 10 to win something.
This is you can't hang up, because if you hang up, it's going to take you another 15 minutes.
Right. So you just ass out. So let me tell y'all something.
Said you acting up tonight.
Troy King Brody, look, Captain Hip. Let me tell you something.
Hip hop.
No, hip. It's a straight hip, because he only got one hip. He's the oldest working man in show business. Look, Troy, you need to get back here in the studio, because I'm gonna tell you right now, this show is hot. And what I mean by that is Rock got this room like at 105 degrees. I feel like my grandmother's still alive and I'm walking into a living room. The sweat is coming off the walls. You got the heater. It's hot, man.
I turn it off. You gonna see menopause? I turn it off.
Menopause. The thermometer on my phone right now says it's 103 degrees up in here. Light-skinned people just can't take the cold, and it's not even cold. It's like 75 degrees outside.
It wasn't 75 inside.
Okay, well, when it gets that cold, we'll leave. We'll cut the show off.
Yale,
Yes, sir.
please tell me you watched that ass whooping on Sunday. Moncton, he took your advice when we was out at the Ravens training camp.
Say that part again, because people don't understand.
Moncton took your advice.
What did I advise him to do?
A heavy dose of 22.
That
Did you see the stiff arm, Yale? I ain't
Dude.
worried about no other play. Did you see the stiff arm?
dude's feet. When you running straight up, and all of a sudden you're horizontal like you're trying to fly or dive, and you can see the tips of your toes. He stiff-armed that boy into last week.
Boy, that's what we've been waiting for all season. That's what we
All
want to see.
season. And look, I brought this up earlier on another on my Facebook page. People need to understand. Lamar is Lamar. Lamar is the man, right?
Yes.
You know, I'm a big football historian. I track little like crazy shit, right?
Keep on.
Off the top of my head, I can't remember another game where Lamar was not the leading rusher. And I'm talking about when we had J.K. Dobbins, when we had Gus Edwards, when we, go all the way back to when Lamar first started playing. This is the first, and it wasn't even close. Derrick Henry had like 157 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yes.
This is what needs to happen.
Every week.
When I told you when we got him, this is what needs to happen. Because that first touchdown, you talk about the stiff arm, that was awesome. That's a highlight. I'm gonna have a picture of it. I might get it blown up, put on my wall of fame in my house. But what did I tell you before the season started? If you have in the backfield Derrick Henry with Patrick Ricard and Lamar, and you in the red zone at the goal line and the ball is snapped, what you gonna do?
Give it to him behind Ricard.
But if you're on defense, what you gonna do? Like you gotta shit because you got and your boy, everybody's boy, Micah Parsons, he got caught in the middle of that shit and he just did an oh shit moment because he started to go for Derrick Henry and Lamar just went waltzing right across his face and went in the end zone untouched. And then the next touchdown, which was Derrick Henry's first touchdown, goal line again, you got Patrick Ricard, you got Lamar, and you got Derrick Henry. You got 2 horses, and you got 2 Clydesdales and a thoroughbred. And they just went into the line, man, and just Derrick Henry didn't even.
For those that don't know what a Clydesdale is, that's some pretty horses you see pulling the Anheuser-Busch wagon
right,
Christmas time.
Right, and them horses are big. Them horses,
yes.
Those horses are
couple thousand pounds easily.
They stand like from hoof to head, they're like 10 feet tall, right? They're just crazy. But there's no stopping that. There's absolutely no stopping that. Derrick Henry didn't even lose his balance, so he was like 4 yards in the end zone when everybody piled up on him. And then his second touchdown, he broke the line from like the 35, and your boy who got freight trained earlier took a swing at him and missed, and he got drugged into the end zone. This man with Lamar, if they stick with this formula, I'm here to tell you, people are not going to want to play defense.
That's grown man situation.
That's grown man situation.
Grown man situation.
I'm of course I'm always going to pick them. I'm picking them for Buffalo Sunday, but Cincinnati has no defensive line. Like they are shuffling people in right now. They got boat raced Sunday. When we play them after this coming Sunday, Lamar should have 110 yards rushing. Derrick Henry should have like 790 yards rushing and 16 touchdowns.
And Justice Hill should be right behind him.
Whew, man,
Right behind him.
man, look, this team is about to be scary. He wasn't listening to me the first 2 weeks. Now he's listening. But tell him again, you were with me when I pulled up Todd Monken at training camp.
Is what you said.
Yep. As you got that big boy, should use him. And he said, okay, but he didn't listen to this week. Now we know. Now we know.
Well, he didn't have enough preseason reps. So week 1 and 2 was him getting his timing down.
Yeah.
Getting the handout situation together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because listen, you know how you got a Corvette and it's a 6-speed, and when the light turn green, you go from first to second. And you got to go from second to third before you church it.
Yep.
Man, that boy said chirp, chirp. When by the time he got to the linebackers, it was a wrap.
And it's the thing, man. He's like, he hits you like a freaking steamroller, but he's as fast as that Ferrari. Like, goddamn. God, when he gets out in the open, and when he comes around that corner, and the only thing between him and daylight is a safety or a cornerback, people make business decisions.
Very much so. Because ain't nobody 142 pounds step in front of them.
190 pounds. You 190 pounds playing corner in the NFL, you're legit. This man weighs 265, 260.
Coming at you full speed.
Full speed. Knees just, and he runs standing straight up. He don't even bend down. He's waiting because it's really hard to stiff arm somebody when you bent over.
And you ain't gonna tackle him with his legs. He got tree trunks.
Man. If we could have gotten him last year, we had the Super Bowl. It's just that simple.
And can you imagine that man looking you in your eyes so you see it was coming at you?
And take your manhood right there. You can just give it up like, nah, bro, I'm good. Go ahead. Go and get your touchdown. I'm going to go over here on the sideline and claim a hamstring injury.
Or the blade of grass tripping.
Yeah, exactly. This is the turf monster. But yeah, so to Troy's point, I'm free-forming tonight. There's a lot on my mind. Politics, as always, stays on my mind. So talk a little bit about
Agent Orange.
Captain Stupid and his sidekick Dummy.
Did you hear that they had a lawsuit filed against them today by the Haitians?
Yes, and neededly so. I still am in contact with my high school social sciences, social studies, civics teacher. Okay. Good guy, nice guy. He's on my Facebook. We talk about stuff. And he put me in a messenger chat with some of his friends. And it was a video of someone who had remixed. They're eating the dogs. Like, it was really cute. And he accidentally put one of his friends who's a Trump supporter in that chat.
Oh.
Now, why this man has a friend that's a Trump supporter, I don't know. I have friends that are Trump supporters. We do our best not to have political conversations because inevitably it's going to go bad. But this person made a comment that I thought was a joke. And she said, this is not funny. People's dogs and pets are disappearing. And I said, yeah, they probably get eaten by aliens. And she said, no, those people are eating them in Ohio. And I said, wait, are you serious right now? They believe everything this man says. And I had to tell her, ma'am, I don't know you. You don't know me. You don't have to trust me, but you can look it up. Haitians are not a culture that eats dogs and cats.
Right.
So please, everything this man says is not gospel, but they believe it.
He saw it on TV, though.
Right. Even though he's got access to every source of information on the planet, stuff that you and I don't have access to because as a former president of the United States, he still gets security briefings and secret paperwork goes past his desk. He could inquire, is this true? No, he's going to rely on some wild ass conspiracy theory that JD Vance said and just went with it and said it was on television when it was never on television. But even if it was, he should be smart enough to know, to fact check shit before he says it in a nationally televised debate. And then we talked about the debate the Wednesday after the debate, right?
Right.
We talked about that. Why 99% of the world, right? 99% of the world knows he lost that debate.
Who's the 1% that don't know?
Everybody in his camp and him, actually him and probably his kids, because he's going around talking about he won the debate. It wasn't even close. And then he said, I don't know if you saw this. He said, when I would say something and the crowd would go crazy and everybody was cheering. And when he said it, nobody fact checked him to say there was no crowd. You were in an empty studio. It was just you, Kamala, and the moderators. Like, there was no crowd. What are you talking about? The crowd went wild. What, like, it's a special kind of crazy this man has. It's scary that they don't care what he says, what he does, and they just believe it. And I used to say my old litmus test was whatever Donald Trump did that they forgave or they said wasn't a big deal, I would say, but what if Obama, right? That's the thing. No matter what, but if Obama had said it, if Obama had did it, they lost their goddamn minds when this man wore a tan suit one day because he wasn't supposed to wear a tan. They lost their minds because there was a picture of him with his feet up on the Resolute desk. When all presidents have put their feet up on a Resolute desk. But Donald Trump can do no wrong with these people. It's crazy. They don't question anything he does. And if they do have a problem with it, they just accept it because they just think he's so wonderful. But now the litmus test is, if Joe Biden had said something like that, they'd be saying he's old, he's crazy, he needs to be locked up, put him in a home. They don't say that about Trump. They just let him riff, like, and they're okay with it. It's so bad that they understand that some of the things he says makes no sense. But they say, but it's all right because he's just going to say things like that from time to time. The problem with us Democrats is we hold our people to a higher standard. It was not okay with me, some of the things that Joe said when he debated him. I got concerned. I was not concerned until that debate between Biden and Trump. Trump people are okay when he says things like they're eating the dogs and the cats, and the people in the Springfield are terrorized by Haitians. They're okay when he says Haitians who are here legally, he calls them illegal immigrants when they're actually refugees from the situation in Haiti. And this is easily fact checked. All you got to do, you can go online. You don't even have to use Google. You can use any search engine you want, and you can find the truth about this stuff. But they're okay with it because it's him. You know, he says crazy stuff like he would be the best president for women's rights in this country. Women's reproductive rights. He says he's the biggest champion for women's rights. They're okay with that when the facts say he was allowed to stack the Supreme Court with 3 judges who overturned Roe v. Wade, which was a law that was over 50 years old on the books. They don't have a problem with that. When it's like he's spouting anti-facts, which I was raised to call lies. I don't understand it, Rock. I really don't. It baffles me and it concerns me that some people that I know who I consider to be rather intelligent letting stuff like this slide because they want this man so much to be president again. I sat here and I explained to the audience how tariffs work. It's not hard to find this information out. But when he says, I'm going to tariff countries 200%, which means not only are they going to be charged the cost of their product, he's going to double the cost of their product. And he says consumers won't have to pay for that. Simple, not even math, just simple common sense should tell you somebody's going to have to pay that if the country wants to do business here and sell their product. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever bought anything from Temu?
I had, just to see what it was.
Right. Were you happy with your?
I wasn't disappointed, but it's not like that's gonna be my run to. I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, I gotta go place a Temu order now.
Right. Now I've bought some things from Temu. Some things I've been like, this is going straight in the trash, and some things I'm pretty happy with. Right. Same thing with Wish. I bought some things from Wish that I wish I had never paid my money for, and some things that like, wow, this is a great deal, right? But what's the big draw with Wish and Temu when you normally go on there and buy something from those sites?
Right.
The big thing is the cost, right? It's cheap. Not cheap being, I mean, some of the products are cheaply built and made, but they're inexpensive. This ring I wear, to show y'all this ring, right? I love this ring because it's what? Purple and black, right? Those up there in the cheap seats is purple and black. This ring, I'm gonna drop it on the table. That's a solid ring. I got this from Temu. Real happy with this ring. Love this ring. I think I paid $7 for this ring.
Wow. Which metal is it?
It's stainless steel, but it's coated. It's tungsten carbide and coated. So I paid $7 for this ring through Temu. If Donald Trump is president, this ring is going to cost me $14. I'm sorry, no, $28, because it's going to be 100%, which makes it 14. Then another 100% on that, 100% of 14, double 100, 14 is 28. So I mean, that little bit is $28 is still a good price for this ring. But if you start talking about bigger things like appliances from South Korea, like your Samsung televisions, your LG refrigerators and kitchen appliances, if you're paying $400 for those now, that's going to cost you $1,600 if Trump wins in 200% tariffs countries. And you're going to pay that because LG wants to sell that product here. And the only way they can sell it is if they double the price that they have to pay. They're going to double the price you have to pay. So why would you vote for that? And they cry about prices being high now. There's a photograph going around social media right now. It's a picture of a video press conference that JD Vance had standing in a grocery store in front of an egg section, and he's complaining that a carton of eggs cost $4 now. But he's saying that while holding up a carton of 24 eggs, not a dozen eggs, 2 dozen eggs, and standing in front of the egg section with the prices that say $2.99 for a dozen eggs. So, and they go, yeah, the price of eggs is $4. It's not. He just said it out of his face. But the video evidence is right there. It doesn't cost as much as he says it costs. And people are upset because Trump and Vance and their ilk are telling them stuff and they believe it without checking it. I can tell you anything. I can tell you right now, I paid $7 for this ring. You can go on Temu and find it. It might not be $7, it might be $5. They might knock a couple more pennies off of it. So, but you can check, but they don't even want to check. It's crazy. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't understand why they think everything he says is true. It's scary. With absolute, you remember when he was inaugurated back in 2016 when he was inaugurated and he had his inauguration and his people coming on saying it's the largest crowd ever for an inauguration in Washington, D.C. And the picture showed it was less than a third of the amount of people that were there for Obama's first inauguration. Like how, like the evidence is right there. What are you talking about?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
What is her name? Ivanka? Where is she?
Ivanka, his daughter.
Well, no, not the daughter. What's the wife name?
Oh, Melania.
Where is she? She hasn't been on this campaign trail all year.
Actually, what I just found out, because I didn't watch the Republican convention, but she did appear at the Republican National Convention for his nomination, but she had to be paid $75,000 to do it.
That's not what you're saying. That ain't what, no.
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
No.
Yeah.
That's misinformation. They didn't give President BJT wife $75,000 just to stand next to her husband in support.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm telling you.
They could have gave me 25 and I'd have stood next to him.
I'm not gonna catch a stray for that man. I'm just gonna keep it real. I'm not gonna catch a stray for him.
$75,000.
And they're trying to figure out now who paid for it and why. Now, to be clear, I'm not sure whether or not Barack and Michelle were paid to appear at the Democratic National Convention, but they gave speeches, and both of their speeches were so fire, right? Michelle's speech was so much fire that Barack came out and said he must be the dumbest man in America to try to follow her speech. And then he took her speech and made his speech even better. It's amazing, right?
Right.
But if they were paid, that's fine because neither one of them are running for office. If you are but I don't think they were. I would need to check, and I'll have a problem checking and saying I'm wrong if I'm wrong. You don't need, I don't need them to have not been paid. But I guarantee you Doug Emhoff was not paid to show up on the stage with Kamala Harris. I guarantee you Tim Walz's wife wasn't paid to be there in the audience for the convention to support her husband. The Trumps are grifters, man. That's their whole thing. And she's written a book. I haven't even checked the sales, but I think it's on Amazon. I don't know how it's doing, but when she comes on to advertise the book on commercials, I feel like it's a joke. It seems like a Saturday Night Live skit.
Wow.
You
know what I was disappointed though in politics this last week?
What's that?
Everything that happened with Angela also Brooks.
Oh,
I want to say over and over again, no matter what those that don't look like us get away with, we can't adopt it and think we're going to get the same luxuries and benefits and passovers.
Right.
Even if she says she didn't know, we got to clean the clock, and then clean the clock again.
Right.
We have to, man. We have to make sure the ducks, the chickies, the eggs, everything is in a row.
Right. But
and she got caught with her pants down, man.
But here's the thing: it's such a non-issue. It's $14,000 is what they're talking about that she's going to pay back. I haven't heard anybody like use that in a campaign ad against her yet. Maybe they haven't made it yet.
They've been running commercials all day today.
Oh, today.
Today,
Okay.
yes. They've been running commercials all day today.
I don't know if it's going to make a difference because Hogan is trailing her, except like down in Southern Maryland. But it still could be a close race. I don't know. I don't know that it's going to stick because it's not hundreds of thousands of dollars. But to your point, had it been Hogan, it was hundreds of thousands of dollars, even tens of thousands of dollars. Even if it was $1.50, they would be defending him to the hilt and circling the wagons, and some political action committee would pay for it or whatever. If they would embrace him. But you raise a real interesting point. Have you seen what's going on in North Carolina?
I really wasn't going to speak on it, but we can because that's actually my family's hometown.
I got family in North Carolina. My ex-wife, whom I still love.
I'm talking about the actual town, not the state.
Okay.
The actual town on Henderson. My mother is buried in Warrenton, which is about 8 miles from Henderson.
And the Allen family is from Henderson. My mother's people are from Henderson. We were supposed to go to Henderson for the family reunion this year when the Queen had her stroke, and so we didn't get to go. But there is the lieutenant governor is running for governor of North Carolina. He's a black man. He's a Republican. He's a staunch Trump supporter. But he has declared himself a black Nazi.
I saw that.
He said slavery, it needs to come back because slavery was not as bad as it's been portrayed.
That's a paycheck.
He thinks people who are gay should be killed. Yet, this brother has been on porn sites, leaving comments on porn sites. Now, once Project 2025 is implemented, and if Trump wins, believe it or not, it will be implemented. Looking at, viewing, logging on to, owning, whatever you do with porn could get you arrested. No matter what kind of porn it is, no matter what your age is, they want to make all porn illegal. So, one, I might have to leave the country just because I may have accidentally popped on a porn site once or twice in my life. But I don't know why anyone would comment on the porn on a porn video. Like, what do you need to say? First of all, you're probably watching it by yourself. And if you're watching it by yourself and you feel the need to leave a commentary, you probably have a lot of other issues that need to be addressed. But his profile on some of these porn sites that he's denying is him, right? Because there's no picture. But the profile's birth date is the same as his. The profile's place of birth is the same as his. The profile's, I guess they asked the secret question, but the profile's mother and his mother both worked at the HBCU. Like, there's all these different delineators that just match up with him perfectly. But he swears it's not him. And he said that someone is using AI, spending $1 million to come up with AI to discredit him. But it's so bad, Rock, that the Trump people have not disassociated themselves from him, but they're no longer endorsing him, and they've asked him to step down out of the race. In North Carolina, which is a swing state, it's a crucial state for both sides. So if the Democratic candidate wins the election in North Carolina, it doesn't necessarily mean that Trump will lose North Carolina, but people might wake up and go, you know what? There's a lot of crazy, and maybe if we don't want this guy, we don't want Trump. Because the state is not blue, is not red, it's kind of purple. So it's a swing. It's an important state for the Electoral College. But this is the kind of crazy that's going on, and we're talking about also Brooks for having tax breaks on a home that her grandmother owned in DC that she's responsible for. I mean, it's legit. I think it's a legit situation. It like she literally could have just been paying the taxes on the house just in continuation and not realizing that there were tax breaks on the house, even though her grandmother has passed on. That's legit, but it still should have been looked at and cleared up. But it's not like she was stuffing money in her panties and trying to walk out the house when the FBI raided, like the guy who used to be the PG County executive about 10, 15 years ago, who was caught taking bribes. And there was so much money that when the FBI raided his house, his wife stuffed cash that she had hidden in the freezer in her bra and her panties and tried to walk out the house past the FBI so it wouldn't be discovered. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. But as you said, they're having commercials about it now. They could try to run with it. But yeah. So let's talk about a couple scandals right now in the news.
Baby oil.
No, I'm not. I'm staying political.
Okay.
People today don't understand that there's ways to find stuff, and there really aren't any secrets out there, right? And to be honest, you distracted me with the baby oil thing because the conversation we were having earlier. But Janet Jackson, you know the Janet Jackson controversy right now, right?
When she was saying she didn't want to endorse or support Kamala because she was trying to persecute her brother.
No, she said she doesn't believe Kamala is black because she was told her father was white. She said this in an interview, and then the next day she had her spokespeople walk it back. She didn't walk it back. She had her spokespeople walk it back. And I saw an article today. I read an article today that tracks this back to Randy Jackson.
Okay.
Randy Jackson is now her de facto business manager and advisor. And Randy Jackson is a staunch Trump supporter.
How?
How and why, I can't even begin to guess. I don't understand it. I mean, it's a whole different world. I don't get it. But to me, now I haven't known you all my life like Janet and Randy used to grow up. Like, remember before he joined the Jackson 5 when they were both real little, they would come out and do a little performance and sing a couple songs, and then the brothers would go ahead and do stuff, and they'd be on TV. And then she got her break on Good Times, and then she was on Fame and Different Strokes, right, and all that. So, but Randy has never had anything going on other than he was the sixth member of the Jackson 5, but he replaced Jermaine. So she is letting him, because of the family thing, like dictate her choices and stuff like. So the article went on to say that she's got several songs that she's recorded that have yet to be released because he doesn't think they should be released. Goes on to say that he's making decisions on when and where she tours. But for me, the whole controversy about Kamala's race it shouldn't matter. She's not running to be known as a black woman president. She's running to be president who happens to be a woman. She's not standing out on the corner yelling, I'm black, I'm not Indian. She's embracing both sides of her heritage. But she's not even using that as a campaign thing. It's people like us who are having controversies of whether she's black or not, or Indian, and having these conversations. And she's not running on that, and we should stop fighting about it. All I'll say is she went to Howard University. She pledged AKA.
That makes her sister alone.
Right there. My cousin Jovan pledged Delta at University of Maryland. She has a for real white line sister that she's still close to. She is not saying I'm black. She's saying I'm a Delta. So, but if you're going to hang with that crew from the 70s, you a sister. I don't care. And I've met her a couple times. She's thorough, right? She passes the test for me, but we shouldn't get caught up on that. Right. And I've said this before because it's been brought up, it's put in my face before. It goes back to 2007 when people said to me, "Oh, you're probably going to vote for Barack only because he's black." And my rebuttal to that is the same that I have for rebuttal for Kamala. For 200 years, you've been voting for white candidates because they're white. Right. So even if that's my case, let that be my case. But I didn't vote for Barack Obama just because he was black, because Herman Cain was black as the night, and I didn't give a shit about what that brother was saying because he was not talking to me in my community. I've met, talked to, and been around Ben Carson for several years when I worked at Hopkins. He would never get my vote to have his hand anywhere near the nuclear button because he's a little woo-woo. Brilliant surgeon, but a little woo-woo. So it's not just because of her color that I'm voting for her or supporting her or in any way, shape, or form embracing her. It's because of who and what she's trying to do and say and represent. And that should be the litmus test for all candidates. But the other controversy that I think is an even bigger deal than Janet's mistake the other day was the Michael Eric Dyson controversy. Have you seen this?
No, you got to give me this one.
So Michael Eric Dyson was on CNN debating politics with this United States Congresswoman, Republican Congresswoman, who refuses to call Kamala. She calls her Kamala, Camella. Like she goes out of her way to disparage her that way. And Michael Eric Dyson was debating her on CNN. And then a couple days later, this woman shows up on the House floor and has a blow-up picture of text messages from him saying, "Can you send me some pictures of you?" And they took a picture together on the set of the show, and he sends it back to her and says, "Don't tell anybody, but I think we look good together." Bad look.
Very.
And he's come out trying to defend it, saying it was just playful banter, and he was just trying to say we're on opposite sides, but we look good together. We should hang out and be, but we can't do that because we're on opposite sides, but we really do look like, we can be friends. And he's denying it, and he's trying to frame it a different way. And that may or may not be true. I'm not sure. But what I'm sure of is one thing we cannot do, whether we be, when I say we, I can be talking about Democrats, I can be talking about black men, I can be talking about black men who are Democrats. What we cannot do is try to be buddy-buddy with the other side and expect them to want to really be buddy-buddy with us. Because even if it was innocent, like he said, she clearly was able to make hay with it and use it to say, oh, look, here's another black man that really wants a white woman. And we're supposed to be on different sides of the issue, but he wants me. So if you're going to be on the opposite side, if you're going to talk on the opposite side, don't think that that person is going to be buddy-buddy with you once the lights go out, because they will find a way to make you look like a damn fool. And he's learned that lesson from both sides, as far as I'm concerned. He's learned he can't pretend to be buddy-buddy, and he damn sure can't be trying to get sneaky with it. Because shit it backfires on you, and it backfired on him, and he's totally out there now. Now he might recover from this, but I've never been a big fan of Michael Eric Dyson. I think he's a brilliant man, a brilliant orator, but I think in a lot of ways, some shows use him as entertainment instead of information, because he can rhyme like the best rappers out there, but it's always got a hint of making you smile about it. And I think some of those shows, some of those hosts use him as their step and fetch it. That just my opinion. It's always been my opinion.
For those that don't know who Step and Fetch It is, can you give them some backstory?
Yes. So Step and Fetch It, I've been told, because this is one of the things I know about that I definitely was not a party to. I'm not that old. But Step and Fetch It was a man who was an entertainer back in the so-called glory days of Hollywood, when black people were never given lead roles. And he was supposedly slow-witted and like a minstrel. He was just like a clown for, again, entertainment purposes. He would be in a comedy movie as the slow-witted, easy to scare Negro. And he had the way he talked, he was clearly playing someone that was slow-witted. And a Step and Fetch It line might be something like, well, I don't know. I don't want to go around that corner, because it could be something out to get me, boss. So, and then you add to him Birmingham Brown from the Charlie Chan movies, where he was the driver for Charlie Chan and was easily spooked. Again, these stereotype ignorant black man characters. Now, both Step and Fetch It and Birmingham Brown, which were not their real names, they were character names, they made a lot of money for themselves in those days. But they gave up their dignity to white people to make that money. That was the only way they were going to be in films and movies and be known and have notoriety. and it's a derogatory term, derogatory connotation, just as if you do Amos and Andy today. Amos and Andy radio show for years. My old man talks about Amos and Andy because before they were televisions, everyone sat around the radio, listened to radio plays. You heard music on the radio, but they had radio plays, sort of like TV sitcoms. And Amos and Andy were two derogatory characters that on radio were played by white men. And then when they moved into movies, they were white men in blackface. And then later actually played by black people, but they never made them anything more than spooky and conniving and shiftless. And my old man still talks about those shows were funny, and they, you know, like in the 30s and 40s, that was what they had for entertainment, and they laughed at that stuff. But we don't have to be that anymore. And I think in a lot of circles, that's how Michael Eric Dyson can come off to people. So those are the big political controversies today. And now we're going to talk about what you brought up. I'm going to let you lead because, I mean, this is your wheelhouse, man.
What you trying to say? I got 1,000 bottles of baby oil in my house?
I'm just saying, you know the man. You know about the Jaguar. So
let me say this, man. And I don't want to get no hate emails, no F you rock texts or none of that. What I'm saying is, what are we really upset about? Because he had a bunch of consenting adults in one place and they all chose to do some adulting. Is that what we're upset about? Are we upset over the recreational use of illegal substances that goes on every day? What I'm saying is, when John had the freak off at his house, it's not a problem. Because this man is worth 800 million, he has a freak off with people that's worth a couple hundred million themselves. Now all of a sudden it needs to be a big deal.
I think the big deal is because some of these women that participated were not willing participants.
I get that part.
And I think we're upset about the fact that he flew people in from other states and other countries to participate as paid active participants.
How many of these people were handcuffed and moved around at gunpoint?
That makes it even worse.
So me and you are both avid fans, right? Of the Ravens.
Yes.
Of the Ravens,
yes,
right?
Yes.
We have a similar, if that's the word I'm looking for, disdain for people such as the Steelers, the Bengals, the Browns.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. If you told me, Rock, I'm going to give you 2 tickets to the Steelers game next week, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not playing the Ravens. They're playing the Bengals or the Browns, right?
Okay.
2 teams that we both have made publicly known that we can't stand, right?
Mm-hmm.
My response is going to be, you can keep them tickets, man. Fuck all that, right?
Okay.
But then if you said, Rock, listen, I'm going to give you a $100 voucher to go to Ruth Chris after the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can go to the game. You can get that $25 souvenir cup with all the Pepsi you want in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can bring a +1, and after the game is over, you're going to be able to get picked up stadium side by Uber Black. Mm-hmm. And now I say, I want to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can I now fault you for making it more enticing for me?
No. But if I add on to that, when you get to the hotel, there are going to be some women there who I've drugged and flown in from Argentina, so you can do whatever you want with them, then that's the problem.
Okay, were these women willing participants?
No.
Okay, then that's a problem right there. And I'm getting that. I get that's a problem.
And if those women were local to the Steelers and were there waiting for you, but still drugged and or coerced, that's a problem.
And well, my next point that I have a problem with, they announced that this man had 3 AR-15s in his house with shaved serial numbers. And there's times that we're going to where people walking and shooting up churches and schools and supermarkets, right? That doesn't make the news, but the fact that he has 1,000 unopened bottles of baby oil is the highlight of the story.
764 dildos.
That's more of a pressing story than this man having 3 AR-15s with manufactured serial numbers or the
serial number is shaved off.
Yes.
So here's the point. You just said he's worth $800 million. One of the best AR type rifles you can buy is like $2,500. So why do you need to get a AR-15 from anywhere and shave off the serial numbers when you can buy one outright legally and you just have it? Like, why do you have weapons that have the serial number shaved off?
That's my point exactly. That should have been a more of a catastrophe or a wow moment than him having dildos and baby oil.
Well, the baby oil and dildos is salacious and it's tantalizing and titillizing, and it makes people go, ooh, you can do, and they have been out there, hundreds, if not thousands of memes about Diddy and these 1,000 bottles of baby oil. That's funny. You can make a joke of it. It becomes big news. The serial number, like right now, honestly, from what I know about gun laws in this country, not just what I'm learning about here in the state, but what I know from this country, if you have a weapon and you've shaved off the serial numbers or tried to distort the serial number, you've already committed a federal crime. Because that's saying you either got the gun illegally or you've done something with the gun illegally or plan to do something with the gun illegally and try to distract from the source of the gun. It's illegal to do that. And if you're worth 800 million, why are you doing it? Why risk? Like, that's just stupid, unless there's something else going on that they're going to dig in and find out. I mean, it's just what they're going to do, because you've given, if he had 20 ARs in his possession and they were all legally purchased and they were just in the house, they wouldn't even have said anything about it. They may have, unless it's a drug bust, they don't care how many guns you got in your house. But you start shaving off serial numbers, you're doing stuff like that's not a mistake. You're purposely trying to do something illegally, right? I'm a gun collector. I have several weapons that I've legally purchased. Even if I legally purchased the weapon and tried to file off or shave off or acid wash the serial number, I've broken the law, and people are going to ask me questions. So why do it? Why do it? That adds to the story of, what are you doing? Why do you have these illegal weapons? Why do you have 1,000 bottles of baby oil? Why do you have 764 dildos? What is going on? Like, it just adds questions that you don't need.
I have multiple partners, and it's easier to just get another one as opposed to trying to sterilize the one I just used.
The dildo's fine. Again, that's an answer. You can spin that answer. You can spin that answer for the baby oil, right?
Yeah.
There's no good justification for shaving off the numbers of the serial numbers of those guns.
So to my point, the fact that you just made and drove the point home about the shaved serial numbers on the gun, why are we focusing on baby oil and not the shaved numbers on the gun?
Because I don't care how old we are, we're still elementary school kids at heart. And stuff like that is that's giggle material. So that's why we're focusing on that, because you know, there's nothing that you can make of, and I have the weirdest sense of humor of anybody I know living. There's nothing that you can make a joke about shaving serial numbers off of a gun. So it's not going to get the traction. It's going to get the traction in the serious media, the serious, news cycle, but it's not going to get the millions of hits on social media, because you can't draw a picture of Diddy in front of a crying baby and a mother frustrated because she can't find any baby oil, because he shaved off the serial numbers of a weapon. That's why it's getting all the traction, because people are laughing about it. That's why Donald Trump's comment about them eating dogs has gotten all the controversy, because people have made memes. I've done memes about that. It's funny, and that gets people talking. But you're right. We should be talking about Diddy and the serial numbers. Matter of fact, probably the only thing that Diddy did that I supported and was proud of was in 2008, when he was one of the first people to come up with Rock the Vote, right?
Yeah.
So he's supporting Rock the Vote to get Barack Obama elected, but behind closed doors, he's doing stuff that the people on the other side of the aisle want to be able to do. So in a real world, he should be embraced by the second amenders and the Trump supporters who want to be able to do anything with their guns. Like, this is why I try to tell people, there's nobody really that's 100% one way. There's nobody. In case in point, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz own guns. Kamala Harris just did an interview in Georgia where she said, I own guns and I have guns in my house, and anyone breaks in my house, I'm going to shoot them. They're going to get shot. I'm left-leaning Democrat. I believe you should be able to own any weapon that you can safely secure in your home, use for self-defense or hunting. But I don't think anybody should, there's no need to have a grenade launcher. There's no need to have a flamethrower. I don't see that being equal under the law or even a right. But I also think, like I just done, in order to carry a weapon, you should have to take a course and pass the course to show you're proficient and responsible enough to do so. So if Diddy wants to have guns, fine. If Diddy wants to shave the serial numbers off of those guns, then in a perfect world, he should be on the right. He should be with the Trumpers and the MAGA people and the NRA people. But if he just wants to have the guns, I have no problem with that. I have zero problem with that. You know, one of my favorite movies, I don't even know, I've never talked to you about this. You ever seen Fear of a Black Hat?
No.
Oh, I got to find the DVD. I'm going to lend you Fear of a Black Hat. Or you can look it up. I think it's probably playing. You can look on IMDb. It's probably playing on like Netflix or Prime or one of those stations. You should watch Fear of a Black Hat. It's one of the funniest fucking movies I've ever seen in my life. But the premise is, it's a black version of This Is Spinal Tap. It's a mockumentary about a rap group in the early 80s and all the things they go through to make it to the top. And I know you've seen the movie. Oh my God, the name of the movie just went out the side of my head. I feel so stupid right now. The Nerds movie. Who's the nerd? Nerds.
Revenge of the Nerds.
Revenge of the Nerds. I know you've seen Revenge of the Nerds.
Yes.
Remember the black guy who played the little gay guy? Lamar, right?
Yes.
He's in this movie. There's a guy who wrote, directed, and produced the movie, Rusty Cundiff. Lamar, the guy who played Lamar in Revenge of the Nerds, is one of the members of the rap group. He's made up to look like Ice-T. I mean, oh shit, I said Ice-T. Eazy-E. And as a matter of fact, his character's name is Tasty Taste. And they go to his house to do an interview with him, and he's got every weapon in the world. He's got grenade launchers. He's got grenades. He's got bombs that are shaped like bowling balls with the fuse coming out of it. He calls them something like his Bugs Bunny specials and all this other stuff. It's a funny movie, man. I gotta find it and rent it and lend it to you. You'll find a way for you to watch it. That movie is hilarious. And the soundtrack, you can find the soundtrack. I own the soundtrack on CD, but they have these songs that it's all making fun of the rap game when it was really getting started. They do a concert and there's a white rapper backstage who he's a takeoff on Ice Baby, on Vanilla Ice, right? I can't remember what the character's name is, but he meets them backstage. He's like, and he says, because they're being followed by film crew, right? They're just there to rise and do this stuff, and they backstage and they're chilling. He comes and goes, oh no, Black Hat, oh man, y'all my niggas, right? Like, oh man, y'all shit is like dope, man. Like way you rap, niggas, man. Like you niggas is like we boys, right? You my niggas, right? And they all look at him like niggas. And then one of them puts a hat on the camera, and all you hear is him jacking his ass up. We got your nigga, right? And then later on in the movie, they run into him in another venue, and he's like, his arms in a sling. He's got a black eye. He's walking funny now, and they see him. They go, hey, what's up? He's like, man, that shit y'all did to me before was fucked up. But like, so we can be on both sides of an issue and still have a moral line that we won't cross, right? So like, again, I have weapons. Just like Kamala said, you come in my house uninvited, break in my house, you better have good insurance or good life insurance policy, because for real, there will be no miracle surgery to save your ass. Absolutely none. I'm making sure. But again, like I said before, I don't need, want, or have any desire to have a flamethrower. I can't justify that in my heart and my head. Why do I need a flamethrower? Why would I need a grenade launcher or a bazooka? Like, there's no need for that. So, but the Second Amenders, the MAGA people, the NRA people, like, I should be able to have anything I want, and I should be able to walk around with an AR slung across my chest, and I should be able to file the serial numbers off of that, so you can't trace this gun to where I bought it from. That's the line. So I don't know what Diddy was thinking. I don't know what Diddy's into. An associate online on Facebook brought up this controversy about it and said he had a picture of Hugh Hefner up, And he said, you know, why is Diddy being persecuted when Hugh Hefner did the same thing for decades? And the answer is real easy. One, Hugh Hefner had so much money and so much power. He had a whole team of people that covered up all that shit. So much so that stuff is coming out now that was obvious and in our faces all through the 60s and 70s, but we never could confirm it because his people cleaned that shit up and made sure it never got out. So Diddy was sloppy because he slapped that girl around on camera in a hotel, and she sued him, and she got that footage and she broadcast that footage, and he was in a trick box. There was nothing he could do. And then other people started coming out with allegations, and then it starts to snowball. Hugh Hefner, if you watch the documentary Secrets of the Playboy Mansion, Hugh Hefner did stuff that was 10 times worse. Most of those women were willing, but a lot of them were drugged up and didn't know what was going on. And a lot of them got hurt, and they like his people made sure that they never talked about it. I don't know that anybody was killed behind it, but a lot of cover-ups were going on. Have you seen that documentary?
No.
The docuseries? So there was an incident where a young lady who worked at the Playboy Mansion was asked out by a guest. Now, I'm telling you the story as they presented it. So when I tell you the story, don't say, yeah, you're making this up. You can find this out. You can watch the documentary and find this out. She was asked out by a guest. She went with the guest because the guest was famous. She felt safe. She goes with the guest. He holds her hostage for 2 weeks. He beats her. He sodomizes her. He rapes her, keeps her locked up in a closet in his home for 2 weeks. And then basically throws her out with the garbage. When she gets out, she contacts the Playboy people to say, this is what happened. I'm really in a bad way. I need to go to a hospital. His security people go and get her, take her to an off-site Playboy Mansion house, Playboy-owned house. They have a private doctor look at her, and they tell her it's okay. It's going to be taken care of. We got this. Now, when I tell you their security does this and says this, their security, you would think, what? What do they get ready to do?
Offer.
No, they keep her quiet. They pay her medical bills, and then they fired her. And the person who did it was, even though the membership rules clearly state that you cannot date any of the women working there and you cannot do anything to them. If so, your membership will be revoked and you will be prosecuted. This member, none of that happened to. And the week after that, he was seen at the Playboy Mansion again and kept going to the Playboy Mansion. When I tell you the name of the celebrity, your brain's going to blow up.
Blow my brain up.
Don Cornelius.
Wow. Wow.
And the people that interviewed who worked there, men and women, said there were rules that were hard, fast rules that didn't always apply to certain members if they were famous enough. They could get away with anything. But this happened when Don Cornelius was at his height with Soul Train and producing records and artists. And Don Cornelius has been dead several years, and Hugh Hefner's been dead several years, and now it's just coming out. Diddy did not insulate himself with that kind of like shielding. So, and this is a different day. Everybody's got a phone camera. There's video cameras all over everywhere. You can't really get away with shit nowadays. So that elevator lobby footage that came out with Diddy and the young lady, he's cooked. But Hefner was videotaping all that stuff too, but only in his bedroom and only in rooms in the mansion. So people didn't know they were being videotaped, and there's speculation that a lot of people he held sway over because he would set them up to do stuff and then say, if this, if you don't do what I say, then I'm gonna let this footage be out. So a lot of people kept shit quiet. So that's the difference, man. It's real money versus real power. And there's black money and there's rich white money. It's just that simple. So Diddy is now, when your lawyer goes before the judge and says, we'll put up $50 million in bail, not the 10% that most bail is set at for whatever you get your bail, right? We'll put up 50 million, and the judge says no. There's more to that than we know about that's going to come out in this trial. He's cooked. So I see sides of this whole story that I can get behind, and I see sides that I can't, and I see sides that I understand why I got locked up, and I see sides where I go, I don't know, but they got you. They got you with the serial number shaved off of the weapons. If nothing else sticks, they got you with that because that was in your possession. It's in your house. And he can try to do like he did with the shooting that was involved with J-Lo back in the day at the club. Somebody else can he can try to have somebody else take the fall for that. But the truth of the matter is, it was in your house. So you're responsible for it because it's in your house. I told the story the other day, man. And I'm not the last person alive that can tell this story, but I'm the last person alive that was instrumental in this story, principal in this story. I was telling this at a cookout the other day, and it was kind of around this whole thing with Diddy. You ever been at a party and shit gets so wild and carried away that you say, I think I need to go? Like whether you're DJing or whether you're a guest, and things just get way out of hand, you feel uncomfortable, and you say, let me get my shit, I just need to get up out of here.
Yeah.
Okay. Me and my two roommates had a party like that, and one of them and I said, we need to get up. we need to leave. And we left the party. We packed up. We left the party because we knew the cops were going to be coming. Like, well, we don't need to be anywhere near this when the police show up, because the neighbors were complaining. They had blocked off the street. I guess had blocked off the street. They had parked in people's parking spaces. There was stuff going on the deck. There was stuff going on in the basement. There was just all kinds of debauchery going on. And we were like, my boy Roddy and I were like, we're gonna go get some ice. we rolled out to the party, and we were living in Columbia. We went to the Columbia Hilton, and we were there like 2 hours. Hoping, yeah, and we left my buddy Mars, the other roommate, there with the guests. We didn't even let him know we were leaving. let him deal with that shit. And we came back 2 hours later thinking, okay, if something happened, you know, and the party was still going strong. So, you know, there were people who attended that party, these parties, these what they call freak offs. And now a whole lot of shit's gonna come out, man, because there had to be people at the party who Diddy is either going to name or they're going to feel bad. And there are people saying, well, I went to a freak off, but I never saw anything like that. Yeah, you did. And if you didn't leave when things got crazy, you saw stuff, because nothing goes sideways at a party and everybody stays. Somebody leaves. So, you know, the chapter, the last chapter hasn't been written. It just hasn't been written. But anyway, look, this is the first show I've done without a lead-in video or promotional video. People like Troy who are listening in while taking his old man meds for his hip. Do we know how Troy messed up his hip?
No, because he ain't gonna never tell us the truth.
Troy's younger than me.
It's gonna be some elaborate story. You know, he was in a softball tournament. They was down by 2. He hit a shot to left center. He was rounding second. The runner scored to make the game tied. The guy bobbled the ball, so they waved him home. So he rounded third, and he went in feet first to score the winning run that would have put his team in the victory center for the whole tournament. And he tore the ligaments in his hip when he was sliding home for the winning. When he was sliding home, and then the catcher was trying to tag him out and fell across his leg and pulled his hip out.
Meanwhile, the other team
was really getting them to go get some extra chicken wings. They tripped over a Wanya stiletto heels that she kicked off when she got home from work.
Or he walked out the house with that Howard mug one time too many, and she hung foot.
I never understood that, man. How are you gonna steal your wife's mug and go on live,
on air, on camera,
and you know she's a fan?
See, because we think differently, right? If I'm married to somebody and they're living in the house, you don't have yours, I don't have mine. It's ours, right? That's our mug. Okay, unless my name is on it. In which case, if my name is on a mug and baby, you want to use my mug, go ahead, take my mug, use it. You break it, we're gonna have a conversation. But yes, go ahead, feel free, right? Sweetheart, I'm taking your mug to do my live show. Because it's our mug. What's yours is mine, and what's mine is yours, right? And then how it's supposed to go? You talking to a man who was married for like 45 seconds. But that's how it's supposed to be, right?
I hear you.
So
in a perfect world, yes, you're absolutely right.
So I'm going on record right now saying Wanya was the one that was in the wrong, and Troy did no wrong.
I'm not gonna co-sign on that one.
I'm just saying right now because I think he should get up on that good hip and stand in her face and say, yeah, I took your mug and I'm gonna take it again.
Yep, all that sounds good.
I think that's what he should do.
You know she's from Brooklyn, right?
Right. But Troy's from West Baltimore, right? Man up.
Baltimore County. His dad was from West Baltimore.
Well, I mean, he's West Baltimore County, but I think he should stand up. I think he should put his chest out. He should say, I'm the man in the house, and I'll use whatever of yours I want to use and take wherever I want to take it.
It sounds good.
I think that's what he should do. Now, I don't support that, but I think that's what he should do.
Yep, sounds good.
Yeah. That's what I think he should do.
Troy will be back in the hospital, and it won't be because the hip replacement didn't work.
It'll be because she took the new hip and beat him upside his head with it. But, you know, he shouldn't listen to me. I would never do it. But I think Troy should do it to make a point. Yeah.
It go live while you're doing it, Troy.
Yeah,
You
Troy.
want to go viral? Go live, Troy.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. We're right here behind you, man. Way behind you. But anyway, look, next week I will be out of town. I gotta go to town for work.
Can I go?
You don't want to work.
I didn't say anything about going to work.
I'm gonna be in corporate housing, so you're gonna have to be working. And we don't need a DJ.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, if you want to go, I'm not paying for anything. You would have to pay for your stuff. And it's corporate housing, so they wouldn't put you up. So you probably have to get your own hotel along with your plane ticket.
Where are you going? Can you say?
Yeah.
What's the secret location?
Phoenix.
Arizona?
Yes. Where it's going to be 1,005 degrees. They said it cooled off. It's now in the 90s.
Weed is legal out there, though.
Weed's legal here. But I don't do weed.
Not the good weed.
I don't do that.
We can start.
I'm just gonna be looking, doing the work and looking for some cactus juice to drink or some stuff like that.
Out the cactus, I hope.
Out the cactus, exactly, like Fred Flintstone and them used to do.
Out the cacti.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, that's and then I'll be back the week after that, and I'm sure we will have plenty to talk about.
2 victories.
2 victories, and I might call, if Troy does his show, I might call in on his show on Tuesday to talk about the Ravens and his bad math skills.
Yes.
So, with that, you can wind it up, man. We'll be back in 2 weeks, same bat channel.
Same bad time.
Same bat time. Nightlife.
The night circle
of sanity.
Of sanity. Ready to show. Ready to show.
What you got? What you got? What you got?
This is State of Emergency.
The nightlife. The night circle of sanity. Of sanity. Ready to show. Ready to show. The nightlife. The night circle of sanity. Of sanity. Ready to show.
Oh, before I forget, October is breast cancer awareness month. You can't handle the truth.
The nightlife, the night circle of sanity, ready to show, ready to show.